Am I wrong for attempting to convince my nephew that becoming an agnostic is a giant mistake? Yesterday afternoon, I was visiting with my brother, his wife, and my nephew, we'll call him David. We were celebrating my brother's 45th birthday, and we decided to go out to a buffet in our town to eat dinner before returning home for cake. This was a yearly tradition, and this year was no different, except for one very troubling thing that David did. Shortly after we were seated, our waitress invited us to serve ourselves at the buffet. I stayed behind and let everyone know that I was going to thank the Lord for our meal, and I bowed my head and said grace. When I looked up, my brother and Sil were still seated with me at the table, but David had already gotten up and had begun serving food to himself. I thought that perhaps I had just opened my eyes too slowly, but the feeling kept nagging at me, and I finally asked David after I had sat back down what he was thinking. David informed me that he was no longer religious and that he had decided to become an agnostic. I immediately was sickened by this news and excused myself to the restroom to splash some cold water on my face. As Southern Baptists, it is critical that God play a role in every action that we ever take in life, and David's refusal to understand that the Lord has a plan for him made me lose my appetite. When we returned back to the house for cake, I pulled my brother aside and asked what was going on with David. My brother said that David needs some space from religion while he finds himself and that ultimately he couldn't do anything since David is a grown man. I found this to be a total cop-out. I have personally persuaded at least 50 people to become devout Christians in my adult life, and I even keep several copies of pocket-sized King James Bibles in my glove compartment. I told my brother that I would not be staying for his birthday cake unless he agreed to speak with David about his sinful turn away from Jesus, but my brother nonchalantly shrugged his shoulders at me. I couldn't believe how he was so willing to abandon someone who had been by his side his entire life, and all day at church today I was thinking about where I had gone wrong. I have a meeting with my pastor scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm hoping that he will provide some free resources that I can ship to my brother and nephew. I don't know what else I can do but pray for them. Is there anything more that I should have done? AITA?